The appearance of this bus in the mid-50s in the largest Soviet cities could be compared to the landing of a UFO. Nothing like it had ever been seen in the USSR. The futuristic design of a large streamlined body, the shine of chrome in the exterior decoration, and most importantly, a spacious interior with high seats in which passengers literally sank. The new Hungarian intercity bus, Icarus 55, did not at all resemble the then Soviet bus masterpiece, ZIS 155, with a weak gasoline engine located in the front, in which it was always cold in winter, and in summer the cabin smelled unbearably of gasoline and hung with dust, and which, in addition to cities, was forced to be used on long intercity routes. For this purpose, the 8-meter interior of this bus was equipped with passenger seats from civilian aircraft. For its exquisite design, extraordinary structural solutions, the Icarus 55 became one of the best buses of its time, and a springboard for the Hungarian company Ikarus on the way to gaining the status of one of the largest bus manufacturers in Europe. The Icarus 55 was called the Millionaire, and not because this model was produced in millions, but because of its endurance. Most buses easily traveled 1,000,000 kilometers. But why, despite the bright design and high-performance characteristics, did these buses acquire such unusual nicknames? Cigar, chest of drawers, vacuum cleaner, and rocket. To find out the most interesting facts about one of the best Icarus buses, just continue watching our video. Like it and share your impressions of this masterpiece of Hungarian bus construction in the comments. And would you like to ride a similar bus with the breeze? Well, while you are getting more comfortable, we begin our story. And the story of the Icarus 55 begins in the early 50s, when the management of the Hungarian state-owned company Icarus, which was established in 1948 by merging two nationalized enterprises, Uri Brothers and Icarus Aircraft and Automobile Production Joint Stock Company, decided to develop a new bus model, which was to be based on revolutionary new design approaches in bus construction, a fully load-bearing body, and a rear-engine layout. This bus design originated in Germany and was first introduced in 1951 by the Kässbohrer Company in its Setra SS 8 bus model. In the same year, the Hungarian company also presented its first coach-type bus, the Icarus 30, which was produced in urban and intercity versions. However, this model turned out to be not very successful, with significant technical shortcomings, and therefore was not produced in large quantities. Icarus was forced to return to the production of frame buses for a while. The first attempt was not very successful, but the experience gained in the development of this bus was used to create one of the best European buses of the 50s, Icarus 55. It was an intercity and tourist bus with a streamlined load-bearing body of a wagon layout. With a length of 11 meters 40 centimeters, the exterior of this model was striking with its bright red color and a large number of finishes: chrome-plated side moldings, bumpers, headlights, wheel covers, and an engine compartment grille. Passengers were provided with a panoramic view by large side windows and glazed roof slopes. The interior of this bus exuded Western luxury unusual for socialist countries. Deep passenger seats, individual folding tables with floor lamps, good ventilation, and an effective heating system. The cabin had 31 seats for passengers and one for the conductor. The main lighting was also unusual. The dipped beam headlights were mounted in the center of the bumper, and the high beam headlights were mounted under it. Under the floor of the cabin was a luggage compartment with a volume of almost 5 cubic meters, which was accessed from the outside through side-hinged covers. In some modifications, open luggage compartments were even mounted on the roof. It was possible to get into the cabin through a double-leaf door located in the center of the starboard side. Another door was on the driver's side. The main highlight of the Icarus 55 design was the unusual protruding engine compartment, which was located in the rear of the bus and was separated from the main cabin by a partition. For its unusual rectangular shape and hood cover, which consisted of two halves that opened to the sides, the bus was nicknamed a chest of drawers in Hungary. Such a detached hood layout was designed to create more space in the cabin, as well as for maximum noise insulation and exhaust odor from the six-cylinder inline diesel engine Chepel D614, with a volume of 8.2 liters and a capacity of 145 horsepower, which was an unalternative option for the then Hungarian auto industry. The engine worked in tandem with a 5-speed manual gearbox, which was initially partially synchronized and later fully. The engine's features in the design of the Icarus included not only a protruding hood, but also a massive air intake in the rear of the roof, which was used as part of the engine cooling system. A comfortable ride on the bus was made not only by a comfortable interior, but also by a soft suspension with semi-elliptic springs supplemented with hydraulic shock absorbers. For many passengers of that time, who were accustomed to a hard rodeo on frame buses, such smoothness seemed sky-high. The dynamics were at their best. With a full weight of 12 tons, 750 kilograms, the Icarus 55 on the highway gave out about 100 kilometers per hour. At the same time, it did not consume so much, 32 liters per 100. The Icarus 55 was comfortable not only for passengers, but also for the driver, who had a comfortable adjustable seat, a dashboard with well-thought-out ergonomics, and, most importantly, the main assistance that saved the hands and feet of any driver: a power steering and a pneumatic clutch release booster. The pneumatic drive also had a dual-circuit drum-type brake system. The first buses of this model were built at the Icarus factory in Budapest in 1953, and in the following year, 1954, the Icarus 55 was presented at exhibitions in Paris and Geneva, where it was awarded many awards. In the same year, the model entered mass production. The incredible design, high technical characteristics, and comfort made the bus extremely popular on interregional and interstate routes. In addition to Hungary, Icarus 55s were supplied in large quantities to East Germany and the USSR. The first 20 Icarus 55s arrived in the USSR in 1955. They became a real find for intercity and interregional routes, which experienced a significant shortage of such equipment. For a while, the 55th model became the basis of the bus fleet. Thanks to it, many additional regional routes were opened, which helped buses become a real alternative to the railway for the first time. A characteristic feature of the Icarus 55, which were supplied to the Soviet Union, was the central spotlight, which was mounted in the front part of the roof. For their unusual futuristic design, with a protruding engine compartment, drivers gave these buses several interesting nicknames: Rocket, perhaps for the steep shape of the body, and the roar that the engine made. Or maybe because the design of the bus resembled the famous Soviet vacuum cleaners with the same name, which began to be produced in the USSR in those years. There was also the nickname Cigar. Here, apparently, the similarity of the design of the engine compartment with a mouthpiece was reflected. Every year, the need for tourist and intercity buses in the countries of the socialist camp only grew. In order to further increase production, the company decided to simplify the design of its buses as much as possible. The first victim of rationalization solutions in 1958 were the headlights. They were moved from the central part of the bumper to the sides of the front panel. Over time, all the bright chrome trim disappeared from the exterior of the bus. Based on the Icarus 55, the Icarus Lux tourist bus was produced as an independent model with a comfortable interior and soft seats for 32 people, above which mesh shelves for luggage were attached. In the engine compartment of this model, a more powerful 6-cylinder Chepel diesel engine with 170 horses was hidden. It was the Lux that became the export version of the Icarus 55, which was supplied to the socialist countries, most of all to East Germany, as well as to the USSR, where it worked in large cities. In the GDR, the Icarus 55 was also called a rocket for the strong roar of the engine. Some of the buses even began to be installed with six-cylinder diesel engines from the local tractor company Schlepperwerk Nordhausen. In addition to the intercity and tourist versions, Icarus also produced the Icarus 66 city bus. This model was maximally adapted for operation on city routes. It was equipped with two 3-leaf folding doors blinds with a pneumatic drive. Curved windows disappeared from the roof slopes. The curved panoramic windshield was also abandoned. Instead, a simpler, smaller one was installed, which consisted of two large central sections and two triangular side inserts. The interior was now adapted for an additional 58 standing seats. Icarus 66 were supplied to the USSR in smaller quantities and were used mainly on city routes in the Baltic republics. The Icarus 55 lasted in the company's production program until 1973. In total, 7,466 buses rolled off the assembly line during production, of which 3,762 were exported to the USSR, where they operated on intercity routes until the early 80s. Today, most of these buses have been scrapped or simply abandoned to rot. However, individual copies, after restoration and modernization, have joined private collections, museums, and have become part of various exhibitions and festivals as living artifacts of the period of Romanticism in bus construction, when designers and engineers created real works of art and not transport units subordinated to dry indicators of functionality, utility, and efficiency.